This is the Clark Connection Podcast, where 12 years of coaching championships meets real-world leadership. Coach Clark broke through at the highest levels. Now he's bringing you the playbook. Every week, real leaders, real wins. Real strategies you can use Monday morning. If you're done with theory and ready for results, this is your show. You in? Let's go!
All right, and welcome to the Clark Connection Podcast. Great to have you guys here with me tonight. And so, tonight's topic, difficult conversations. And so, I want y'all to know that most people don't avoid difficult conversations because they're weak. They avoid them because they don't know how to have them. And the cost of that avoidance shows up everywhere, in marriage, on teams, in leadership, and in businesses. And so if you're leading a business and you're not having difficult conversations, you're not avoiding conflict. You're postponing it. And postponed conflict always comes back louder. So what's up, everybody? I'm Aaron Clark, a.k.a. The Coach. I'm a leadership coach, trainer. I like to tell everybody I'm a recovering football coach. I'm a leader and have been a corporate director for the last 5 years. And so I can tell you from experience that the conversations you end up avoiding eventually control you. Tonight, we're talking about having difficult conversations. And we're basing it on John Maxwell's winning with people. So I am a Maxwell certified trainer, speaker, and coach. And so here is the promise of this live. That by the end of our time together, you'll understand why conflict is unavoidable, why most people handle it poorly, and you'll walk away with a clear roadmap for how to confront issues in a way that strengthens relationships instead of destroying them. Now, before we jump in, let me ask you this. Have you ever avoided a conversation you knew you needed to have and later wish you hadn't? If that's you, type me in the chat. And as you're typing it in, gotta take a quick moment. Want to shout out that Hubbard Flooring Studio for sponsoring this episode of Ask the Coach. I'm so grateful to be partnered with people who not only they believe in excellence, but believe in developing leadership and leaders. So Vicky, I appreciate you. And so let's start with the truth about conflict. Now, that what I want to say is the first thing. Conflict is unavoidable, okay? Conflict is unavoidable. You cannot avoid it. It doesn't matter where you go. That it could be in person, it could be in life. That you can't do it. People are going to have different values than you. They've got different expectations. They've got different, just views on life. And so there's going to be friction, okay? You can't avoid conflict. Conflict is something you cannot avoid. It's impossible to avoid. So just know that if you're leading people, conflict is part of the job description. Our next point under the truth about conflict is that confrontation is difficult. It's an emotional risk. That when you take the time to actually go and approach somebody about something, then hold them accountable. When you put it off, you're doing so because of fear of rejection. You're doing so that because you don't want to see this escalate into something that's not, or being misunderstood. You don't want to lose a friendship, a family member. You don't want to lose it, and so you avoid it. Just note that confrontation is always difficult. This is why, I'd say I'm going to always go to my roots as a football coach. as a coach, we always talk about blocking and tackling, blocking and tackling, blocking and tackling. Whoever blocks and tackles the best wins. And oftentimes, when you refuse to go block somebody, when you refuse to make that contact, and so as you come together and you hit, if you were to just pound your fist together like that, that's painful. And so it's something that you naturally want to avoid. That we are primed, it's part of our DNA to not want conflict. So they just note that it's difficult. And a lot of times that in football and in life, when you avoid that difficult thing, when you avoid that problem, it's going to lead to bigger problems. That next point under the truth about conflict, that as a leader, the truth about conflict, sorry. As a leader, how you handle conflict determines your success in tough situations. Marriages don't collapse over one argument. They just don't. They erode from unsolved ones. And so this, nobody that I know has ever just gotten straight up divorced over, oh, he didn't help me with dishes. She didn't do that. That doesn't happen. But it does come about from a bunch of things that you avoid, hoping that they'll go away. Teams don't fail from confrontation. They fail from silence. And so as a leader, it's important to note that you are remembered for what you tolerate and what you address. What you tolerate and what you address. And so right now, just take a quick second. If you're on here, in the comments, drop a 1 if you tend to avoid conflict, and drop a 2 if you tend to come in too hot. Both are not good. Mine would be a 2. So if I was typing in, I would be dropping in 2. So I'm just curious, where are y'all at on here? Are you 1, I avoid conflict, or 2, I come in too hot? And our next point. So we talked about conflict is unavoidable, confrontation is difficult, how you handle conflict determines your success. Our next point under the truth about conflict is there are harmful strategies when dealing with conflict. And so our first one is when you come in with a win at all cost. When your goal is to win, when you turn conversations into battles, you might win the argument and lose the relationship. And so if somebody has to lose in order for you to win, especially in your role as a leader, your leadership is already gone. So this comes back, like this is you. And again, I'm not coming here to attack you or anything like that, but you're hearing me constantly talk about the 5 levels of leadership. You're stuck on level 1. That you're leading by position. The second one that you see, and I think this is probably the most common with most people, is they pretend it doesn't exist. They stay silent. They don't even they don't do anything about it. They just, well, if I don't say anything, Tom was supposed to return in his receipts today, but he didn't do that. So I'm just going to wait and see if he does it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and then, Tom didn't turn in his receipts again today. Maybe he'll do it this afternoon. I know he was supposed to do it this morning. And then next thing you know, 6 months go by, and Tom hadn't turned in those receipts. So pretending it doesn't exist, that it's deferred damage. And so what you ignore today becomes what controls you tomorrow. Point number 3, under harmful strategies, that whine about it. They complain and complain and complain without ever confronting it. They talking around people instead of talking to them. You hear them coming in, and instead of, since whoever Tom is that I've made up, um, instead of talking to Tom about turning in his receipts, I just go, man, I can't believe Tom. And I complain to Bob, and I say, Bob, I can't believe Tom still hadn't turned in his receipts yet. Man, it's been 4 days. And you start complaining to other people. And so if you won't say it to them, don't say it about them. Make sure that if you're going to say it, that you actually go and address the issue with the person. It's not enough just to address, but you have to be willing to address it with them, okay? Our fourth one on the harmful strategies. They keep score. You start you keep tally of what happened. Well, I felt like Elmer Fudd right there. Deeba 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 dee. Or sorry, what's that? Porky Pig. Porky the Pig. But for those of y'all who aren't old enough to remember Looney Tunes, just go look it up. You know, deeba 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 deeba, that's all, folks. But they keep score. They keep tally of, hey, this time you didn't do this. You didn't do that. That time, they go through and keep a list of what all was, and then they use it as a weapon. Like, Tom wants you to do something, and so, Tom, you didn't turn in those receipts yet, and I've been counting all these days that you have not turned in a receipt, and so as a result, Tom, I'm not going to approve you to go get whatever. And so scorekeepers don't solve problems. They settle grudges. Our fifth one, they pull rank. You're going to do this because I said so. I'm the boss. You do this. And position may force the behavior, but it'll never earn the trust. And then the white flag. This is what usually happens when you go back to point number 2, which is pretend it doesn't exist. You just give in to keep the peace. You avoid the discomfort altogether. Tom really is such a great guy. We love having him on the team. He's so fun to be around. But what are you doing with that makes it hard for the rest of the team, okay? And so if you've used any of these strategies even once, this is the part for you, okay? So hang on tight, because we're going to talk about right here the roadmap for healthy confrontation, okay? The roadmap for healthy confrontation. Okay. And now the first thing that I'm going to say in here is that before you go to somebody about whatever it is, and this difficult conversation, it could be that your brother and they're doing something that you don't like, that you don't want your children to be around. It could be, hey, I've now got to talk to my grandmother about fill in the blank, or hey, my mother. It could be a number of different people. So it's not always something at work, okay? So this is why I say this applies to everybody, because having a difficult conversation is not fun. Let's be real honest. Don't for a second think that I think it's fun. But the first thing that you need to do before you confront the person is make sure that you actually care about the person. And so confrontation without care is just control. And it actually means if I'm going to talk to you about it, that I actually care about you. You've heard me say it, guys. Accountability is the greatest form, or is one of the greatest forms of love and respect for somebody. As a coach, I didn't fuss at my players just to do it. Now, some of them will tell you, oh, coach just yelled to yell. But I coach defensive backs. So I was literally 30 at practice. I was 30 yards behind the play, and my players are 50 yards across from each other. So I had to yell just to communicate. But they knew that I was going to take the time. Why I was, if I was fussing, it was because I cared. And so your people need to know that if you're going to confront them, that you care about them. Let that sink in. If I don't care about you, I'll avoid you. If I care, I'll confront you. Again, it's so difficult, guys. That and so I mean, if your goal is to prove that you're right, just stop here. Don't go talk to them. If you don't love them, if you don't care for them, don't go have a difficult conversation. It's got to be done with care and it's got to be done with love. Step number 2, uh, hang on tight. Get together ASAP. Do it as soon as possible. Don't wait. This is the and okay. So I was actually working with a client the other day, and we were trying to make they were asking me, they wanted my input on somebody. What should I have done on this? Should I hire this person or not? And so one of my favorite things to do is say, all right, I'm going to count to 3, and you tell me yes, I'm going to do it, or no, I'm not. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And they go, well, no, I'm not going to do it. And I went, perfect. Trust your instinct right there. Because the more you put it off, the more it festers, the more it becomes a true issue. That because you really start worrying about, hey, if I go talk to Tom about not turning in those receipts, Tom's going to think I don't like him. Tom's going to think I don't care about him. Tom's not going to think that. But the one of the mistakes with this leading up to us is people think that time that will clarify the issue. Time does not clarify the issue. Only having an intentional conversation does. And again, do it with love. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. And then oftentimes it becomes a bigger deal. So it becomes more and more and more and more and more. Excuse me. So don't wait. Now, let me clarify this before I move on. As soon as possible, having a difficult conversation as soon as possible does not mean to be reactive. So if you are mad, so if I'm mad at Tom for not turning in those receipts, that I shouldn't storm down to Tom's office or walk around the corner and be like, Tom, let me tell you something. You no good person. That's not going to solve anything. That breathe, catch your breath, and then go talk to Tom about not turning in those receipts. You need to be, again, don't do it if you're not caring for the person. But step 2, do it as soon as possible. And then point number 3, seek understanding before agreement. Agreement isn't mandatory or isn't ideal. Or sorry, agreement is ideal. Let me start that over. Agreement is ideal, but understanding is mandatory, okay? And so I don't have to agree with you to understand your perspective. And so as I'm talking with Tom, and I go up to, and I address this now, I care about Tom. And so as I'm, because we're going to go have a difficult conversation. I don't want to go have a difficult conversation. And yes, Hunter, that it is difficult conversations. But I'm going to go up to him and, hey, Tom, can you help me understand? You know that you were supposed to have turned in your receipts yesterday, and you still haven't turned them in yet. Can you help me understand what's going on? Why haven't you turned in those receipts? And then shut up. Listen, because who knows what's going on? Tom may not turn them in because the car he had 2 days ago is now in the shop. And Tom is avoiding you because he knows you're going to ask him about it. And he's like, oh my goodness. Hey, if I got to talk to the coach one more time, oh my gosh. But then when I ask him and he starts telling me that, well, great. Do you think we could call the shop and see if we could get could we go pick those up? We really need those because I have to rectify the accounts today. It wasn't as difficult as we thought. We just got to be willing to open and listen to what. And so if you're not willing to listen, you're not confronting, you're lecturing. So be willing to listen to their point of view. Why are they not doing what it is? And step number 4, clearly outline the issue. Be specific. So in that previous example, when I talked about it, hey, Tom, you didn't turn in the receipts. Here's why I need you to turn in the receipts. Because it harms the company and we have to rectify these accounts. We're supposed to do it today. And so, don't attack like, hey, Tom, you always turn your receipts in late. Even if this is his 20th time this year turning the receipts in late. Just address the current issue, okay? Now, one of the things that we like to do is we're dog people, so we love training dogs. And, my son's getting really good at it. And part of it is because he understands that whenever you're addressing an issue that your dog, so if your dog was supposed to sit and they didn't sit, you address the issue now. But if he starts saying sit, 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 and the dog doesn't ever sit, well, you're not doing anything. So same thing here. You've got to address the issue when it happens. But then be clear. Don't just, in this, because we're just going to keep picking on Tom. I'm not going to say, oh, Tom, you're just a terrible person. You don't respect us at all. So Tom's now going to get defensive. But if I just say, hey, Tom, that when you don't turn in these receipts, it makes it really hard for the rest of the team to do their job. Okay. So we had step number 1, confront only if you care about the person. 2, meet together as soon as possible. 3, seek understanding before agreement. 4, clearly outline the issue. Step 5, encourage a response. Don't dominate the conversation right here, okay? And so, like I'd said previously with Tom, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to understand why we're not able to turn these receipts in on time. And just know he's probably going to get defensive. Especially if you're new to this, they're going to get defensive. It's your job to stay calm. It's your job to remain calm. Because I can control 2 things, my attitude and my actions. So if I stay calm while we're doing this, and he starts going on and on and on and on, I'm going to come back to, okay, Tom, the receipts were supposed to have been turned in yesterday. Did you turn in the receipts yesterday? Yes or no? I want Tom to answer that. I'm not just going to let him. Tom, it's yes or no. Did you or did you not? No. Okay. So why? What happened? How do I help you make sure that we turn in the receipts on time? Yep. I have to encourage them to talk and get their feedback. And then that rolls right into step 6, agree on an action plan. So how do we change this? How do we make this better? How do we ensure that you're able to do this? And guys, it could be something as simple as, man, if I could just take a picture of the receipts on my phone and email them to y'all. So that would be great because I'll do that as soon as I do that. As soon as I get that receipt, I can take a picture of it and send it to you. It could be something that simple. And who knows, Tom may have actually helped you find something that's better for the company, that's better for your organization. But you have to, again, be willing to listen. You have to be willing to have a conversation. It's not just about, let me figure out who's right, who's wrong. It has to be about caring for people. it has to be. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. Think about anytime you get a cut that's infected. So I mean, if I were to get a cut on my finger and I never take care of it and I just put it off and uh, it'll be fine. Uh, it'll be fine. Uh, it'll be fine. Uh, then a month goes by and now they have to chop my finger off because it's gotten infected and has gangrene on it. So because I didn't just address it right away, clean the cut, they put some Neosporin on it, some peroxide, put a Band-Aid on it. Now it's become a big issue where it was just a little bitty cut. And it's the same thing here, okay? And then after you set this and agree on this action plan, make sure that you schedule a follow-up to reinforce this accountability. And so if you've never been taught how to structure conversation like that, that's exactly what leadership coaching is for. Like, comment, roadmap, or DM me Confront, and I'll send you this plan and this practical framework. And just keep the conversation going. Okay? And so, in closing, excuse me. Sorry. So here's the bottom line. Conflict is unavoidable. Avoidance is optional. And healthy confrontation is a leadership skill, not a personality trait. If you take nothing else from this tonight, take this. The conversation that you're willing to have determines the future you're willing to lead. Avoiding a difficult conversation might keep the peace today, but it costs you trust tomorrow. Clarity handled with care always strengthens the relationship. So here's my challenge to you. What one conversation have you been putting off? You already know who it's with. You already know what it's about. Commit to have that conversation tomorrow. And don't wait till the end of the week. Don't do it to whine. Don't do it to vent. But use to restore, clarify, and move forward. Again, if you're realizing I was never taught how to do this well, that's again what leadership coaching is for. If you want help navigating difficult conversations in your marriage, your team, organization, they simply send me a DM with the word confront or visit coachaclark.com and fill out my contact form there. If this was helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure that you're following the page. We talk about leadership like this every single week. So thanks for spending time with me. And remember, lead with clarity, lead with courage. I'm going to stick around for just a second. I've seen some comments come through, and I want to be able to answer your questions. So let me check. So yeah, help handling small issues quickly can help to avoid the big issues. Let me see, what did I have up here? Can't see that far away. Let's see. Got any questions? questions up here. Anybody have any questions they want to ask before I sign off? Just kind of quickly looking through to see if there's anything I missed. Hunter the Goat is back. On difficult conversations, what was it on? Yeah, the hard things get done. We'll move forward quicker. Makes things better for all. Oh, that's a good one. So question about how to choose your setting for these conversations. Would you recommend your own office or going to their space? So okay. If I'm at work, I want them to come to my space. Now, reason being that I want, again, this is just me, so it doesn't mean that it's the truth. It doesn't mean that it's the best way to do things. But I wanted the conversation to be somewhere where I was comfortable already. It also, if they're in their office, they may get distracted and start trying to look at the computer, look at the screen, all this other stuff. So that's why I liked it in my office. But if I have to have a difficult conversation with a friend, I'm going to go to their space or try to get them to meet me on somewhere that's a neutral ground. It really just depends on who it is and where I am. So at work, yeah, I'm bringing them to my office, but I bring everybody to my office a lot. When I was in the corporate world working in an office, I would bring people in once or twice a week just to, hey, tell me how's your mom doing? I know you had this issue that going on. Tell me what's going on with that. Tell me what's going with it. What'd you do this weekend? And so it was always bringing people in. I always had a stand-up meeting in my office. I always had a stand-up meet at the end of the day. So people were in my office fairly regularly. So it wasn't uncommon for them to be in there and feel comfortable in my office. And so that's what I would recommend. Now, if you don't ever bring anybody in, make sure if you're going to pop into their office, make sure you do it more than just like, hey, then just because Caitlin asked, I'm not going to just pop into Caitlin's office only whenever she's having a bad day or I got something bad to talk to about. So yeah, definitely it's 6 one way, half dozen the other. I've done both. Prefer to have, depends on who it is, where it is, depends on where I want to have the difficult conversation. And then understanding and reading the room, understanding and reading the person. If they're probably going to feel more comfortable in their space, talk to them in their space. So, good question. Any other questions? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate y'all getting on here. Make sure that if you've taken something away, hit that like button right now. Don't wait. Hit it now. Let everybody know that go share this with somebody right now. Just press share. But do that now. Don't wait. Just quickly. It doesn't take you more than 10 seconds to press like. And then it takes you another 20 seconds to press share. So like this, share this, connect with me on all my socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at coach_A_Clark. And seriously, make sure you've pressed like on this live stream. And remember, You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So keep leading, keep learning, keep connecting. I'll see you on the next episode of Ask the Coach. Bye, everybody.